When you work with me as your advisor, you have frequent, regular, and easy access to me. You don't have to wait for our next work session, our next coaching call, or group consulting brainstorming session. You can simply ask me questions or share your experience with me using an app that I recommend that you download on your phone called Voxer. This is part of my services, and this is part of the MetaHelm experience in working with me. I'd like to explain why I recommend, why I put that app in the package of any consulting offer or coaching programs that I have. This app is, first of all, what is Voxer? Voxer. This app is a walkie-talkie app. It's a messaging app that works like a walkie-talkie. Once you have your phone in your hand and you start the app, you just press a button, keep your finger on the button and start talking. And seconds later, I get a little notification, a little beep, and I hear the sound of the notification. I hear that there is a message waiting for me. I do this because I don't want to work in the traditional style of the traditional relationship of expert and client, consultant and client, where you have to wait, where the planning and the calendar is really designed just for the convenience of the provider of advice, not for the receiver of those advice. I strongly believe that the experience that I offer is optimal, is best if it feels and looks and sounds like an ongoing conversation. So I put the app, I put that access to all my consulting and coaching services because I really want to break that idea, and I really want to break that cycle, that rigidity in the relationship. So that's the number one reason why I think it's a valuable service that I offer through this application. But I discovered lately that more recently, I discovered that there are other benefits to using Voxer if you are a client. So first of all, we just discussed it. You get constant and direct and easy access to me. And as soon as I have the message, if I have the answer to your question or want to make observation on what you're sharing, I just respond very quickly, typically in between other meetings, or if I am walking, or if I'm doing other things. So there's that fluidity of access. But the other benefit, which is even, I believe, greater than the first one, is that by developing the practice, developing the habit of leaving messages, leaving notes to a coach or an advisor or somebody who's here to help you, what you're doing is that you're verbally commenting and journaling on your experience, on meetings that you had, projects you're working on, doubts that come through your mind, or different feelings. You're journaling through this. And what this creates when you journal, when you externalize those thoughts, those ideas, is that you can better consider them. You're more aware of them. So you can express them, you can verbalize them. And when you put words on your experiences, thoughts, ideas, creations, and so on, you give them a chance to exist. So you give them a chance to tell you if they're positive or negative. You're filtering, you're organizing, and this is a chance for you to decide what you want to do with that thought. Do you want to keep it, or do you want to throw it away because it's not bringing anything positive? That's the essence of journaling. You can do this in writing, but you can also do this verbally and vocally, which for most people is actually easier than scheduling some time to open your journal and writing it down. I have clients who've left me on Voxer literally hundreds of messages, and I noticed that I'm starting to hear their self-reflection in the messages that they leave me. I'm starting to hear things like, well, I was having a conversation with this person, and I know what you would have said. You would have said X, Y, Z. And so I thought about this. So I corrected my behavior. I went more that way. I thought about this thing, that thing. So it develops a skill that is about self-regulating, learning, and making your own decisions, because you have agency to verbalize what you went through and to now decide if this is something you want to repeat or not. So I discovered through the use of Voxer that the access that I'm giving to people, actually to my clients, actually encourages them to practice self-reflection, diagnostic, observation, filtering, organizing their thoughts, and they therefore gain confidence in their own narrative, whether it's internal or external. So if you work with a coach, if you work with with someone, consider and maybe, you know, ask that person if that's a service that they might be able to offer, and if they don't, try to experiment with that practice of verbally journaling about your daily activities as an entrepreneur. Maybe you can ask a colleague or a friend if they would accept to be on the other end of this journaling exercise as an audience for you. Not necessarily requiring that they listen to all messages, but because it makes it feel more real. And if you have a coach, then it's even better, because that person can respond with hopefully wise advice. I want to leave you with this thought, which is that in the work that we do as a professional, as an entrepreneur, it's very normal to feel lonely, to feel alone with everything you have to deal with. And you can't necessarily talk to your partner, your spouse, wife, husband, because at some point they might be tired of it. Maybe, especially if they're not in the business with you. And that's not really what a partner is about. Your partner is not necessarily your business partner. So find ways to break that cycle of solitude, of loneliness, that isolation. Find ways to communicate with the outside. What is it that you're trying to build? Why are you so passionate about building it? What obstacles and hurdles and doubts are you running into? And what are the successes? What are the celebrations that you're grateful for? This is how you really build a new narrative for your business, but also your industry. It's a process that starts with you as a visionary leader. It's a process of exploration, of new ideas, experimentation. It's a process of authentically creating new possibilities that start with yourself. That's how you create big change out there. It has to start with yourself. If it doesn't start with yourself, if you're trying to change the outside people, the world, your community, your team, without thinking about you, well, your chances are much lower, because you're not walking your talk. How can you expect people to trust you if they don't see firsthand the change that you're really trying to trigger, right? So I hope that this video help you pick up on a simple exercise, which is to verbally journal your thoughts. I hope that made you curious, and I was really excited to share this tip with you, and hope that this builds another possibility to build and grow a narrative that is powerful and healthy for your business.